Morning, guys. Digital Six here, and so I deleted a lot of content from my channel for various reasons. Stuff about the kids, because that wasn't what my channel was about. And you know what? As long as they want to be liars and everything, there's nothing I can do for them. So there's no point in communicating to them either. There's a couple things that before I could do anything for them. For one, they need to love me. They don't. And two, they need to stop lying. They won't. So the dropout stuff, all that stuff, there's nothing I can do about it. And the local people have covered all that. There should be something still done about it, but they won't do anything about it either. And they let the kids' lies be their excuse. So done with that, right? People don't really, and people don't care. They just don't care. There'll be some people that don't care that'll end up in some kind of family situation dealing with fucked up courts, and they'll be crying a river then, and no one's gonna care about them either. So it's kids. Kids are only used for political points. That's all they're used for, society-wise. Some parents love their kids, some parents don't. Kids either get lucky with good parents or they don't. The government doesn't care. All right, that's settled, right? And then the next thing is political type things and other stuff like that. Not that I changed my mind about the points. I mean, the Hurricane Helene video, really short, just get to the point. I didn't like it later because I didn't like how many F-bombs were dropped in it. But the point I made was very valid, and the only reason the F-bombs were dropped is because they were warranted. But still, it was off-putting for the topic, and there are other people covering it too. It just, like to chime in once in a while and add some passion, some free thought. There's a whole, instead of it just being clearly just some agenda narrative or whatever. Okay, and then as far as politics go, when it comes to demanding a stand or being so outrageous and stuff that feel like to say something, then absolutely MAGA world, Trump, pure nonsense. But you know what? People that vote Democrat, just to vote Democrat because they always did or whatever, they're not any better. Just because Trump comes on the scene and exposes Republicans for who they are doesn't make the people that are just as mindlessly voting blue any better. So the bottom line is that content was, I removed content that nobody had interacted with. Whether, either it didn't get views, so for some reason YouTube doesn't suggest it, or it got views and nobody dropped a like or whatever. Like, okay, fine. You don't want to support the content, it doesn't need to be there, right? I'm not here to, I had no other agenda for it. But what actually ails our country are more simple things. The problem isn't Trump, it's not politicians, it's not even greedy corporations. It's a population that doesn't think for itself, doesn't care to think for itself. It's everybody being willing to be dishonest, proud, or indifferent, all these things, right? A population with some character, a voting body that takes their right to vote seriously and recognizes and cherishes the fact that the government's experiment has been set up so that they can have representation for their needs. The people don't value that. So the pride comes before a fall. And part of the reason I think we have the bigotry and racism going on in those wars is because people are too proud to be humble enough to acknowledge what they're truly the victims of. See, so take MAGA world, take this stuff. Everyone's all worried about whether they're going to be alpha enough and all that, right? Whether it's very, so don't tread on me. I'm locked and loaded with my guns. I got my big truck that I can drive through any hurricane. All this, that's what all this MAGA horseshit's about. Well, that's why they hate immigrants and blacks and stuff like that. Like, no, they're fine and stuff. It's just what these other people are doing. We can't tolerate that. If we had real men standing up, we'd deport all them and blah, 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 blah. In the meantime, they're being totally fucked over by the very people that they're parading as heroes. Why? Because those people are willing to help prop them up because they don't care, while they can also hate these other people. And literally, they get elected by playing to this petty shit And this is why they don't have to do anything for the American people. The Republicans in the House, so they had the House of Representatives the last couple of years, they've done absolutely nothing for the American people. They haven't even done that much damage as far as controlling the House, other than the fact that they stalled out everything. Nothing got done. And why did they do that? Because they got in there for the culture wars. They didn't get in there for their credit, their bona fides. They didn't get in there with any pledges to do anything about anything. And guess what? They didn't do anything about anything. But they didn't elect themselves. Okay, so if you're not in the MAGA camp, you do trust the integrity for the most part of elections. If anything, you're worried about stuff like gerrymandering and stuff like that. But the actual election process, you trust. And yet these people still got in there. That tells you it's the American voter. That's the problem. And when I'm speaking up, because I'm thinking for myself, I'm just trying to encourage people and stuff. If it's not resonating or not worth interacting with or stuff like that, it's just not worth having there. I already accept that this world's full of stupid people, and it is what it is, and I'm gonna find a way to survive. But put a little something out there once in a while, and be like, hey, let's reason together. Come on, guys. Like, it should not be this way. It's crazy, but it is stupid stuff. And the Bible tells us pride comes before a fall. But why does pride come before a fall? Because pride is founded on dishonesty. People either being dishonest with themselves or with other people. And so you've got that pride, it's got to keep going, right? It never stops. So you could never be humbled by reality. So what do? You lie about the reality. So the pride is on a bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger house of cards. And then it falls down. But the humble, why are you humble? Because you're facing reality day in, day out. You're like, wow, this is tough. I got it. Or even when it comes to bad habits or different stuff, you're just honest with yourself. You got no reason to be bothering somebody else. You're humble enough to realize, like, hey, my life's a struggle. You just it's just real. Like, there's no point in me being proud and hateful of anybody else where I'm struggling for myself. And then if you're making it, if you're having a good go, you've caught some breaks. And if you're humble, you recognize you caught some breaks. And when you're being honest like that, and not only that, you take it further, you have faith. And Jesus said to love your neighbor as yourself. What do you got? More humility. Like, wow. It's hard to want somebody deported when, if you were trying to provide the best for your family, you would be doing the same thing if this is what you had to do to provide it. Yes, there's laws for a reason and stuff like that. It's fair to respect that. It's fair to want, like, hey, to stem the flow and stuff like that. But to just be bigoted or racist against people that are only trying to survive like you're trying to survive. I mean, we were born in this country by the luck of the draw. But is it the luck? I don't know. If you were born in Canada, their government actually spends more. You get more back for your taxes as a person than you do here in America. So you might pay a little bit more in taxes, but you pay a whole lot less in healthcare and stuff like that. So is America so great? What would really make America great? Well, I don't know. Could we be an economic superpower without all the greed? And does the greed really is it worth having the opportunity? I don't personally think so. Like, I mean, I would, I don't know. I don't know where would we be third world if it weren't for capitalistic greed? Is there just no way to win? And is this better than the alternative? I don't know. All I know is it doesn't matter really. What should matter is it should be pretty agreeable. It shouldn't be controversial. It shouldn't be hard to convince people that standing up and wanting living wages for the people, wanting healthcare to be a right, things like that should be a common goal before we're worried about supporting our government spending billions of dollars. I keep bringing that up because that's the most outrageous thing. That's the point. Currently, it's a great example of what's going on with our government spending. The rich are getting richer off of killing people. Who do you think makes all that money off the industrial complex that wants all these wars, stuff like that? So right now, they're scoring political points by America not being in the wars, but we're still so we found a way to not start American wars so we could recover from the decades of war in Afghanistan and Iraq, and that is by just simply selling those weapons or giving those weapons to other countries. So the government is still spending money on wars. We're just not sending our people over right now. That'll probably change at the rate things are going. Anyways, I digress. So this is all content stuff. That's just where I'm at. The direction my opinions have to change. I'm not afraid to have my opinions out there. I'm not afraid to speak my mind. But when content is pointless on the channel, I'm going to delete it, clear the way, keep trying. Because this isn't what I started the channel to do, to make these points, but it is part of, it's an inseparable part of who I am, the life I have, the stuff I do. So my channel did have the intention of having some real life content as well as the gaming and stuff like that. It's a mix, and it's kind of evidence that I'm outside the box too. Like literally, there's people here. Some of them have technology and stuff like that, but mostly they're probably just like glued to Netflix all the time, stuff like that. But otherwise, it's pretty simple around here, and not too many people that have the setup that I've got on the outside have the tech that I have on the inside. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not rich. My stuff is not extremely valuable or nothing like that. It's just very techy. It's outside of what is the norm around here. It's fine, but that's where my whole username came from, Digital Sticks. It's just recognizing the plot twist there, basically. So I'll be doing more of that stuff and just trying to get better at it. I've also, this week, so that was my accomplishment yesterday. I managed to delete a bunch of stuff and feel better about it because all the stuff I tried to create really didn't work out. But that includes live streams, man. If a live stream's a total dud, I'm getting it out of there. That way, if somebody does find me and they start browsing through other stuff, they don't waste their time. They can get to stuff that might be a little bit better, a little more promising. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys, anyone who is watching. And yeah, we'll be out there. But yeah, the bottom line right now is you can't really pinpoint it down to a whole lot. My core thing that I would go to as far as what's wrong with our country is greed. But that is flowing from other problems too. So that is only able to be the problem to the extent that it is because of other problems. And then so that's where pride and dishonesty come into play on that. And then it could go on. So I don't have all the answers. I just have awareness of, I'm basically well aware that the common talking points, the things that people are divided between are not the answer either. And that's a problem. Until people can think for themselves and vote for themselves, we're going to have these problems. And that's what's going to get better. Will this make a difference or whatever? It's I don't know. But the bottom line is before anything can be addressed, we got to actually be able to talk about it, right? Got to actually be able to get to real problems and not, we have to break away. So yeah, I don't know that anything will be different, but nothing can be different unless we start where we can start. And where we can start is by actually talking about it, communicating it. If we're thinking for ourselves, stand up and put our thoughts out there instead of just watching everybody pick one side or the other, knowing that both are stupid as hell. So have a good day, guys. And Digital Sticks, I'm out on this, and we'll see what's coming next. I may start off by trying to make a couple things that failed yesterday work today. Have a good day.